Okay, now we are going to discuss about cooperating classes. Okay, there are two types of classes available. First one is independent classes and the second one is cooperating classes. Okay, classes is called as independent classes if the process is not affected or it is not affected by any other process executing in the system. Cooperating classes is if the process is being affected or affected by other classes executing in the system, it is called as cooperating classes. So there are two classes are possible: independent classes and cooperating classes. In cooperating classes, there is a communication between the two classes, even though the two classes cannot share the same address space. So the communication between the cooperating classes can be performed by inter-process communication. And example for cooperating classes is we can take producer-consumer problem. Producer-consumer problem is an example for cooperating classes. In this producer-consumer problem, producer is the process always going to produce some items, and the items that are produced by the producer can be consumed by the consumer. For example, when you take the compiler is a system software, or we can consider compiler as a producer which produces assembly level language as output, and this assembly level language can be consumed by the assembler. The next assembler can produce machine level language as output. This machine level language can be consumed by the loader. So this is the example for producer-consumer classes. Producer is a process which is always going to produce some item. For example, compiler is a producer which is going to produce assembly level language as a product which is going to be consumed by the assembler. Okay, in producer-consumer problem, to implement this producer-consumer problem, we are going to use one buffer to store the product that are produced by the producer. So this is one buffer. In this buffer, all the products that are produced by the producer can be stored. Okay, so we can set the buffer size initially. If the buffer size is 10 means we can able to store 10 items in the buffer. So here the buffer size is 10, so we can able to store maximum 10 items in this buffer. And it uses two pointers, in pointer and out pointer. In pointer represent the first free position in the buffer, and the out pointer represent the first full position in the buffer. For example, in this buffer, already some of the items are stored in. The in pointer represents the next available free position in the buffer, and the out pointer represents the first available full position in the buffer. So there are two pointers are maintained in the implementation of producer-consumer problem: in pointer and out pointer. In pointer represents the first free position, and the out pointer represents the first full position. And to implement this producer-consumer problem, we are going to use one condition for checking whether the buffer is full or empty. If both in and out represent the same value, that is in value equal out, then the buffer is empty. This is the condition for empty. If both in and out value is same means the buffer is full size of buffer, the condition is n plus 1% buffer size equals out. This is the condition for checking whether the buffer is full. This is for full. If the buffer is full, check whether the in and out both are same, then it represents the empty buffer. Then to check whether the buffer is full, this condition is used in plus 1 mod buffer size, which is equal to out means it represents the buffer is full. If the buffer is full, then the producer process cannot produce new items, and if the buffer is empty, the consumer cannot consume any product. So the consumer has to wait until the producer produces new product. So these are the two conditions for checking buffer empty and buffer. Then there are two types of producer consumer problems. The first one is bounded buffer. Bounded buffer, and the second one is unbounded buffer. In bounded buffer producer consumer problem, the size of the buffer is finite length. So there is fixed limit for the size of the buffer. So the producer has to wait when the buffer is full. Here in unbounded buffer, the buffer size is not a fixed size. There is any number of product can be stored in the buffer. So the producer no need to wait if the buffer is full. But the consumer has to wait until any one of the product is produced by the producer. So these are the two types of producer consumer problem. And next we are going to discuss about inter-process communication. IPC is a facility that provides communications between two cooperating classes. When two classes P and Q wants to communicate each other, that is, if one class wants to send a message to another process, that can be performed by inter-process communication. In inter-process communication, there are two types of messages can be used. There is send and receive. There are two types of communication. Send and receive communication. For sending a message from one process to another process, these two primitives are used, and this is example for direct communication. In direct communication, if one person wants to send a message to another person, they can send directly to the particular person. If process P wants to send a message to process P, here this message is In indirect communication, if one process wants to send a message to another process, they will not directly send to the particular process. That is, the message is sent to the mailbox. If one process wants to send a message to another process, it is sent to a particular mailbox. Here, the message is sent to A. Here, A is not a process, it is a mailbox. Okay, then receive. Like that, receive message also. The receiving message from a particular mailbox A. This is called indirect communication. Okay, there are two types of communication: direct communication and indirect communication. In direct communication, the person, if one person wants to send a message to another person, they can able to send directly to the particular person. For example, if person P wants to send a message to another person Q, they can able to send a particular message to the particular person directly by using send and receive primitive. Send P comma message represent send message to the particular person P. Receive Q comma message represent receiving a message from the sender process, that is Q. And there are two types in addressing of particular process. First one is symmetry in addressing, and the second one is asymmetry. In symmetry, it needs to specify both sender and receiver, but in asymmetry, no need to specify the sender, but always the recipient name is given here. Here, send P comma message represent sending a message to the person or process P. So here, the recipient is directly specified, but when you receive any message from any person, the recipient name is not given directly. Here, ID represent the ID value or some other identifier value for the particular process or particular person, but the person name is not directly mentioned here. This is called asymmetry in addressing. Okay, like that, there is indirect communication also exists. In indirect communication, if one person wants to send a message to another person or one process wants to send a message to another process, there is no direct communication. That is, particular message is sent to a mailbox. If one process P wants to send a message to process Q, means that message is sent to mailbox A. So from the mailbox, the particular recipient can able to get the message. This is called indirect communication. Then synchronization. Okay, there is many synchronization primitives are used. The first one is blocking send. Blocking send means the sending process is blocked until the particular message is received by the receiver. Because if one process is sending message to another that message, after receiving the particular message, then only the sender is allowed to send the next message or new message. So this is called blocking send. Here, there is no messages exist in the communication link between the two classes. So in the blocking send, the sending process is blocked until the message is received by the receiver. Then second category is non-blocking send. Non-blocking send. In non-blocking send, the sender is always busy in sending the messages to the receiver. Here, the sender no need to assure that whether the particular message is received by the receiver or not. If the message is not received by the receiver, means that those messages are stored in a buffer. The third category is blocking receive. Blocking receive. In blocking receive, the receiver is blocked until the message is available. Until the valid message is available, the receiver is blocked. Then the fourth category is non-blocking receive. Non-blocking receive. In non-blocking receive, if the receiver is not blocked whether the message is available or not. If the correct message is available, means the receiver can able to get a valid message, otherwise some null value is received. Then next one is buffering. In buffering, there are three categories of buffers are used. First one is zero capacity buffer. In zero capacity buffer, there is no messages lies in between the two classes. Let us say, if one class wants to send a message to another class, there is a communication link between the two classes. In this communication link, there is no messages exist if the buffer capacity is zero. And second category is bounded buffer. In bounded buffer, there is a fixed limit on the buffer size. So if the buffer size is 5, means there must be 5 messages lies in between the sending classes and receiving classes, depends upon the buffer size. The third category is unbounded buffer. In unbounded buffer, any number of messages can be sent by the sender. That is, the sender always receives sending messages to the receiver. All the messages will be stored in the unbounded buffer size. So in inter-process communication, it is possible to communicate the two processes even though if the two processes do not share the same address space. And this communication is performed by using two primitives, send and receive primitives. And there are two types of communication exist between the two classes, direct and indirect communication. And there is synchronization to manage or to synchronize the activities of both sender and receiver. There are some synchronization primitives are used, such as blocking send, non-blocking send, blocking receive, and non-blocking receive. And to maintain the buffering, we can use three types of buffer. Zero capacity buffer, bounded buffer, and unbounded buffer. In zero capacity buffer, there is no messages lie in between the sender and receiver. In the communication link, there is no messages exist. But in bounded buffer, there is one buffer with fixed capacity. So in this, if the buffer is full, the sender stops sending the messages. And in unbounded buffer, the buffer size is not limited. Unlimited buffer is used. So the sender is always busy in sending messages. So this is called buffering, three types of buffers.